going into the barn.
Guys, the mics are on.
No, he was thinking something else.
So, my computer's
We went riding a couple weekends ago in Tennessee, and there's a real steep hill to go up. And I went right up the hill. I couldn't make it up the hill, so I had to walk back down and got his up. 16. I said, wow, I can at least get it up here.
Anybody else is here? Here. Lightning is all on.
The great news is we don't have to get it back up here this week. Let's go as fast.
Oh, cool.
Bob, how do you get these things back up?
Unmuted right now, so
Okay.
they're picking up your thing on Granicus.
Oh, I see. I got it.
Okay.
That's neat.
What do you? You do. Didn't she?
We're so busy watching ourselves. We can't,
No, you're 7B. You're still talking. Courtesy review 7B. You should be there. You're good.
it's 6:05.
And Mr.
Clock wrong, or
Chair,
is it counting to something else?
That's good.
Marty,
For me?
just when people, being that Angela's out sick today, if you don't mind, when somebody makes a motion and then somebody seconds it, just let me know who it is, because I got to record.
Okay.
Usually with two of us, that's real easy to do, but make sure I don't miss it.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Design Review Board. Would I get you to join me in the call to order and the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We start off by the introduction of our board members, and we'll start off to our left with Richie.
Good evening. My name is Rich Johnson, and I live across the street.
If you're very sensitive, you don't have to like your name, just pick right up.
I'm Tim Bryan. I have a business here in Crabapple.
I'm Marty Littleton. I live on Freemanville Road.
Tony Shepard, live in Nettlebrook Farms.
Ed Parsons, I live on Red Road.
Laura Weissong, I live in Crooked Creek.
Get someone to make an approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
I just want to make a motion for the approval of the March minutes, meeting minutes.
Yeah, we didn't, no, we hadn't approved yet.
All in favor, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Trying to get ahead here.
Making a motion to approve the March meeting minutes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, demos. We have none. 6, final reviews. A will be Edgemont on Main. Count on buildings between 1 and 9. Bob, is all that land on that side of the way to windward in the city of Milton?
The property adjoining is in the city of Milton. So where the strip mall?
Shopping center?
Shopping center where they put up the billboard.
And all the way down to windward?
Well,
afternoon.
And the billboard is us too. There were, Robin told me today there were 4. There's a total of 4, I think 2 were Bill. Oh, this is the last one. The other 2 on Highway 9, right? And then there's one on Autumn here. So that's the total. That was part of the settlement agreement.
Good evening.
State your name and address for the record.
My name is Hadi Mansouri. I'm division architect for Calatlat Home in Atlanta. I live in Johns Creek, 7035 Sweet Creek Road. And tonight we would like to present the Edgemont on Main Street. Basically, it's 18 units, 9 buildings of duplexes, and 2 of the buildings facing the Highway 9, and then we have a street with 3 buildings in one side and 4 buildings in the other side. If you want to go by by page, I can explain better.
Very nice looking buildings.
And the first page it shows the location map and Google Map.
the entryway to put some sort of entry handrails. Yeah.
Okay, now, I do want to remind the board that the ones that face, the 1 to 4, if you actually go out there now, there is a small retaining wall that was approved on the LDP, so it's like a, what'd you say, about 2 feet? About a 2-foot retaining wall, which they're going to clad in the same brick that they use for the buildings. So that will be how that was approved. So there is a slight elevation to it and some steps that go up. So are you saying that you'd want to see that railing kind of continue in? It's not really fair to say that it's flat like this. There's really a little retaining wall.
Yeah, I would take the metal rail on the top and add to the front entryway, kind of, take that design. Okay. Right, to the entryway, because you've got,
Not necessarily.
not necessarily.
This one has like a handrail going up.
Yeah, just because you've got on all the interior, you've got, all these have these nice handrail entries. Yeah, I would say just on those entryways to kind of match the handrail on the top, which I think looks really nice, to add something handrail on the entryway somewhere.
They might have to do that just to be ADA compliant, wouldn't they?
Going from the sidewalk to the
Sidewalk and the railing that's at that porch in the front would match.
I think you'd have.
Yeah, actually, Bob, I mean, because I'm dealing with code right now, and I think you have to you got to have handrails on entry
Be ADA
stairs.
compliant.
Yeah, we need handrails there.
Yeah.
What you're saying is you'd want that handrail material to match what they're using up on the,
Yeah, I think that would,
what looks,
so it looks consistent on the design?
It brings a different set of problems. Your handrails on the top are different than the ones you would be putting at the bottom. So,
well, I don't know if they need to be. I mean, they could do metal railing up on top that matches the bottom.
I'm just trying to point it out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
don't know that,
you could do,
I like the X's. Are they code compliant in terms of kids?
So we have
They
to have those.
have to put like something behind it, because you can't have
Right.
a 4-inch sphere
Yep,
wall,
Yep.
4 inches go through the rail.
I got you.
right.
Okay, all right, good.
Let me, I was going to see that.
Fairly narrow balusters or
The one in the back? Yes.
ones that, no, it's going to face that way now?
No, it's going to be, pronounce itself, it's going to be something that shows that there is a bracket. I mean, there's a,
No, it's a wood component.
The baluster.
we try to make it smaller than the main one.
Okay.
Right.
Is it made out of wood or is it going to be made out of?
It's going to be wood. Something that we could, by paint.
It's almost a shame that you, I'm like Marty, I like the X's the way it's looked. Yeah.
Right.
Usually behind the X, they put a
Could they do
smaller mesh.
something that's less obvious? I mean, almost like you've seen the cable type stuff.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't see it really. It kind of blends in with the body.
It's
but
a
it's still
fine
what's
cable.
Try to minimize that background look.
Yeah, because, it's a shame, because, the way you've got it drawn up here looks very, very nice. And it's a shame that we can't figure out something to keep the aesthetic.
The other thing they could do is,
of that.
they could wash the back in black, and then the front has somewhat of a color to it, so it pops. And the black just fades in. So we can look at colors too, materials and colors. I'll work with the applicant to make sure we achieve the results you're looking for, which is the X is predominant. And something in the back that just kind of hides but meets the.
Aesthetically, it's really nice.
And then match that on the bottom, on the first floor for the entryway.
And the louvers up on the top, dormers are okay, right? Okay.
Yep.
And the colors are all good? Are
Yes, they are.
good?
Yeah, I think the
What
colors.
about the pink?
Pink's fine with me.
Pink's fine.
They gotta sell it.
It looks good with the
You gotta paint one shutter a different color if it doesn't sell.
One thought, just something, everything looks fantastic with the three buildings that face Highway 9. These two buildings, you see the side of this one building, I think it's number 18?
Yeah.
Right. And when you look at the true side elevation straight on, which you call the Newsom B, left elevation.
Right.
One thing I was just looking at is you have a really tall, straight, skinny sort of chimney. I was thinking about if you could, maybe at the first floor, flare that one out again, another foot or so on each side.
Make the base look a
So
little
it comes
heavier.
out a little bit more. That's just a cosmetic thing, but it
Have
would
enough room in there with the windows?
Let me look at it.
Do they have enough room in there with the windows, Tim?
it looks like a foot or so there.
Oh, good. So they could flare that out a little bit.
It was just a thought, just something to dress up that side of the elevation.
Base the chimney.
Yeah, double flare.
Okay, I'm good with that. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah, we can widen that.
Just on the first, from the first floor down, well,
We can make it like a 3 tiers.
yeah, so it looks a little heavier and it tears up.
I think that looked great from Highway 9 side.
We added that chimney to the Highway 9 side because we wanted to dress that facade.
It does dress it up better than not having it, I can only imagine without it.
Tim, we don't understand what you're talking about right
Flaring,
here.
see how it
Oh,
comes down.
I
and
got you, I got you.
flares. Have the first level down flared out a little bit more, so it doesn't just look like a straight line coming down
I see, okay.
the back.
And if you notice, the units 1 through 4 have a higher floor-to-floor height, because we wanted, again, give them a little bit more prominence. Is that all right, guys? Yes. Any other comments from the board? This is a final review, so I would need a vote.
What are the changes that we had?
No two elevations look alike. Everything we do now is unique architecture. Every house has unique architecture. There's no two duplicated
So the only motion would be to the exception of the railing on the front of buildings 1 and 2, correct?
1 through 4.
And the
Units 1 through 4, buildings 1 and 2.
Buildings 1 and 2, yes, sir.
it can be easily confused.
And make the base of the chimney on, is that 18?
That building 18.
18, wider on the first floor.
Okay. Rich, you want to make it?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve this agenda item 6A, Edgemont at Main Street with 2 modifications. The first being the addition of handrails on buildings 1 through 4, and the second being the extension of a double flared fireplace from the first story down on building 18, otherwise as submitted.
Actually, it's building 1 and 2, units 1 through 4.
What did I say?
You said building 1 through 4. It's units 1
Sorry.
through 4.
Units 1 through 2?
1 through 4.
1 through 4. Good gosh. All right.
May I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Have a good day, gentlemen.
No, we didn't approve
No.
We didn't.
Settlement
The
agreement.
State Supreme Court,
We did not do it.
the State Supreme Court approved.
Yeah, I know.
They did it there.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
I would suspect that it is.
Yeah, I know.
Before you guys leave, did somebody speak to you also about the fence that's lowering the fence? I think I spoke to you yesterday, right? Yeah, the fence is like 6 feet. We wanted it at 4 feet because it's right on Highway 9. We don't want it high. You can just cut it down around the pond, yeah. No, there's no requirement.
Yeah.
If there is, we'll look at that. 'Cause I don't want it to be 6 feet around the pond.
Gentlemen, what's the price
You did the best presentation
Yeah.
I've seen yet.
Great.
Congratulations.
Very good presentation.
Really great. Yeah.
Made our job easy.
Just drop the mic slightly. Yeah, more like that. That's perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Number 7, courtesy reviews. The first one is 3045 Haven Reserve, Bruce Maddox. Request to allow an auxiliary structure in the encroachment in the minimum rear yard. Anybody here? Come on.
State your name and address for the record, and you can put it right there. Just name and address.
It is upside down.
Was it upside down?
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Bruce Maddox. I am the owner of the residence, 3045 Haven Reserve in Milton, Georgia. Pleasure to be here tonight, and I appreciate the opportunity to review my request.
You want to just give a small summary of what you're asking?
Yes, absolutely. So my request and application is to approve a variance in regards to the setback lines on our property in order to construct a pool pavilion structure approximately 20 by 20 feet in size. The encroachment in regards to the building setback line, which is 50 feet from the back, from the rear, it would be approximately a 30, about a 20 to 30 foot encroachment upon that line. So in other words, from the back line, once constructed, the building would sit approximately 30 feet off the back line instead of 50. On the diagram, in my application, you'll see several pictures of the proposed project, including the pool location and the setback line as it goes through the proposed structure.
So the pool's already there?
And Bob, did we approve the encroachment on the pool, or?
No, pools are allowed to be within 10 feet of a setback, so the pool would be okay to be placed there. What he's looking to do tonight is ask for feedback on a variance request for the pool cabana, because that's considered a structure and that has to meet the setback requirement.
The cabana itself does not exceed the width of the pool, or if it does, just barely, correct?
Looks that way from this time.
It does not. It is not planned to.
Just some of the concerns, of course, would be the placement. That's up to the board to, and the variance board, of course, to finally approve. But as far as just zooming in on, it's an open-air structure, it's got a fireplace. I would just want to make sure that the building materials that he's building this building out of are complementary to the main dwelling. So the stone match what can you just describe maybe some of the materials you're looking to do? I just concerned that the roof matches the roof on the house is.
That's exactly. And I might add, before I describe those materials, I did bring tonight, if the board would like to have copies of approvals from left and right and rear neighbors with regard to the application. I sent them all a copy of the application that the board has, and so I do have approval letters from them.
So just so you understand that this board makes a recommendation to the variance board, that's the meeting that you have to attend for final approval.
Mhm.
What this board does is tries to focus on, whether they feel the placement is proper, the materials, the layout, the shape of the building, the form, and how it relates to the balance of the yard and whatnot, maybe recommendations to the BZA. So I just wanted to make sure that one of the recommendations, potentially the board, if so desires, is to at least say that the architecture of this should match that of the main dwelling. Try to keep it consistent.
Yep, absolutely.
Best we can.
So are you saying that you can put an impervious surface up to 10 feet from the setback, but what happens if your impervious surface goes outside of that 10 feet? Do you have to come back for a? Because just looking at the picture, it looks like if he's got stone pavers or what that are extending out about 21 feet from that line.
Right. Yeah, it's all within, it's beyond the 10 foot. He's okay on the, from what I can see, he's okay on the stone pavers. As you can see, the bottom line here, Tony, is the property line. So it's only 10 feet back. The yellow line is representing 50 feet.
Right, but I thought you said that you could be within 10 feet of the setback. Property line?
It's 10 feet of the, it's from the property line. Did I state that wrong? It's from the property.
Okay.
Have you talked to your neighbors in back of you?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Do you have their support?
I do. I have an email from them. That property is actually being leased by an organization affiliated with the North Point Church. I believe it's called Bethany's Rest. Bill Willits, I spoke with him directly, and I got an email. I received an email from him approving.
That's a big thing to bring up when you go before the planning commission.
Okay.
I always like to know, are the adjacent neighbors okay with it? It's a really important thing.
Indeed. That was a good recommendation I received.
So the only thing we'd like to add to this, Bob, would be to make sure the components that are used to build this auxiliary structure are in line with the existing structure that is there. Anybody else have any?
Is there any?
I'm just wondering if I'm looking at it. I'm looking at a Google map of it on my phone here, and it looks like there's arborvitae planted back there already, or Leland cypress along the property line. Is that correct?
That is correct. They're actually on my neighbor's property, so
They're not yours.
They're not mine. So he planted several trees because of the development. The Providence Group has developed several. There's about 4 lots that are adjacent to that property. So I think about 2 years ago, he planted a wonderful set of evergreens, magnolias, and a ton of other trees.
How tall are they now?
They're only about 8 feet now.
Okay, but if somebody was standing back there on that other property, they wouldn't be able to see through and see into the pool and a bunch of kids making a racket and all that kind of stuff, right?
Might be some visibility right now,
Right.
But over time, I'm actually planning to add extensive landscaping on the backside of my property as well.
That's a good idea, just be a good neighbor.
Absolutely, and of course, the requirement is to have a fence, as you know. And I'm not sure what the minimum requirements are, but I'm going with a 5-foot high fence instead of 4. I thought I heard 4 was a minimum that you had to do, but I'm doing 5.
Would there be any concern for exterior lighting or anything like that?
Certainly ask, huh?
Yeah, the, nothing adjacent to the structure other than, let's say, maybe, well, there'll be lighting inside the pavilion, of course, can lights inside the pavilion. I'm thinking about maybe a lantern-type light on the post, maybe on two of the posts, just enough for landscape lighting type.
Not tennis court lights.
No, actually, the flood lamps that the builder put on our home are quite sufficient to light the entire backyard, so.
I think we've made all our comments.
Yep.
The materials, just to comment, will be standard materials that you see in this type of structure in higher-end homes, cedar post. The roof will be, match my existing home, and, cedar post and beam. The interior of the structure will be cedar tongue and groove ceiling. We'll have to finish it.
Keep in mind, you're going to make this recommendation to the BZA. When you're there, if you agree, maybe you could just tell the board that you agree with the DRB comments to match, those are the materials you're looking to use, and the DRB was okay with that. And they'll just make sure that that's on record. So that when you,
Very good.
whatever they decide to do. But if they do grant it, they'll grant it with that in mind.
With that in mind. Yes. Thank you very much. I will do that.
Thank you for coming to us.
No, thank you for your support.
I live right behind you, or right in front of you.
Oh,
I live on Freemanville.
Marty wants to know when the pool party is.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Well, hopefully by late July.
Next is 13201 Deerfield Parkway, North Park Estates. Porter Lemus.
Good evening, Porter Lummis. I'm the owner of Inwood Holdings, located at 12 Piedmont Center, Suite 100, Atlanta, Georgia, 30305. I'm the managing partner for the owners of the North Park Estates Apartments, which is 356 units on Deerfield Parkway. We purchased the property 16 months ago and applied for and received permits for plans to renovate the clubhouse and fitness center. Construction review with one of our partners asked us to move an interior wall in the fitness center. We filed for plans to change that. At the time we did so, it was noted that we were changing two windows in the back of one of the fitness center to match the windows in the back of an existing clubhouse, and that required your approval. So the two relevant things I would bring to your attention amidst all the paperwork are this color elevation.
If you like, why don't you can put that down. Let me get you started on that. Hold it up. Put that right here.
This is the rear of the clubhouse.
All right, let's do it that way.
These windows had transoms above them, and these did not. We wanted to put the transom windows down so they would match.
I got you.
These are the ones that exist in the clubhouse.
Okay,
We just wanted, when people are at the pool, to be able to look at the back of the clubhouse.
sure. Okay,
Right.
yeah, that makes sense.
Leasing center, clubhouse, this is the fitness center. These windows have transoms, these do not. We want to add the transoms over them so that they match.
Looks good to me.
Yeah.
I got it. Easy enough?
So that's all?
We're under construction. We have a permit for the work that's been taking place so far, and we were told we could not get our next inspection until we had your approval to put these transoms above the windows.
Go in peace.
Yeah, looks great.
Sure. Any changes to
Good government at work right there.
Any changes to an approval that the board's done?
Right.
We're making sure they come back in and get them reapproved, otherwise changes occurring, and want to make sure the board's okay with that.
Did you lose much?
you very
Did you
much.
lose much time?
Are you kidding?
So sorry. So sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, new business. Anybody know any new business? Any old business?
Oh, wait, we're in a new building.
That is a new business. Can we get an emotion of approval from the board for the building?
Motion to approve the new building.
We all approve,
The
yay.
building?
Looks awesome.
Okay.
I have some old business.
Okay.
I needed to bring up on Phoenix Senior Living on Highway 9, they have not installed a sidewalk to connect, so that is a problem.
I'm going to have to look into that, Laura, because I thought the approval when they did the LDP was to not install that sidewalk for the time being because of Highway 9. Double check it.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
I believe that sidewalk was part of the approval on the LDP because they said, okay, we're widening Highway 9, and they just did money in lieu of. But because it's already been done in CO, they would have picked it up.
Yeah, we can't do that up Highway 9. We need to. They just need to build it to. But they need to build it to to the new standard with the new road going in.
When we did the Pike Nursery,
We just did that with
board
Pike.
turned around and said, no, we still want a sidewalk put in, even though we know the widening's occurring, because it might take 5 years, and we got the sidewalk in
Right.
that project. So,
Right.
But when we did the Phoenix,
I don't know why we would have
I'll
done.
double check it.
Yeah, we
But I
shouldn't.
remember it being waived until.
Yeah, because there are people not really happy with that. There are a lot of people complaining. So
All right.
unfortunately, they complain to me.
I know on Pikes, we did get the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sidewalk in right away, because we said, look, it could be 5 years.
Yeah, I
We did
just
it anyway, and we
Yeah.
did an
Didn't they say that
undersized.
road intersection was going to change in the next 24 months or something?
That whole road section is going to change. The height of the road in front of Phoenix is going to increase by about 5 feet. So it's actually going to get raised quite a bit. So
But I thought that was a fairly quick process. They were on the fast track to get that done.
I don't know the schedule. I would
any of
say
that.
that it's probably 2020 before you see anything occurring.
yeah.
'Cause they just recently repaved Highway 9 because of that time frame. So they actually paved it interimly. That's why Highway 9
Right.
was paved, and then eventually, once we get down to the time frame. So
Well, we may be delayed. We have a bridge to build.
I was just going to say that.
When is Pike's going to start clearing? Have they been,
Pikes is in for permitting right now. We've been going back and forth a little bit. They showed me the building, but they didn't really detail the greenhouses. And I know we've had a lot of discussion on greenhouses when it came in, and the grid work and what the materials were and the ventilation. And when the architects submitted it in to me, they gave me the building, and they said, well, the greenhouses are by other. I said, well, but I still need a basis of design. I need those greenhouses to show on your drawings, even if it's a basis, that it meets what the DRB is requiring. So I don't review shop drawings. I only review the basis of design on the architecturals and make sure that they match what you've requested. And there's nothing labeled. It's all shown, but nothing is labeled. So, and I looked at the shop drawing, and the shop drawings are very different from what's on that drawing. So honestly, I told him he has to come back and relabel everything, give me a basis of design. Once they do that, it should go through the cycle and get the permit.
Okay.
We should be able to start. So,
With the old business finished?
one other thing, when they approve the variance for Bates's fence on Hopewell, I think they have to make sure that the plants survive, right? I think I've noticed a bunch of them have croaked, so you want to send Mark out to check the viability of the plants that they planted there. There was supposed to be screening of that.
Is there still contention with Bates on his fence?
that matter is all resolved. I mean, he put the landscaping in and he did the fence work.
He complied with everything, it was just,
Complied with everything.
you know,
took
just
out
the
his
terms
permits.
where he's got to landscape it and it's got to stay
He was
alive.
totally in compliance at this point. You know, and they did, they're in.
Yeah, I think he's in
I
compliance.
don't know of
It's a
anything
matter of
that's
the-
out of compliance with Bates, but I will talk to Mark about re-verifying that his landscape has made it. That was part of the variance conditions, part of the conditions of approval. So I'll ask Mark how he goes around, double checks to make sure that those plans survive.
Okay,
Anything else?
I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.